Hey everybody, I am Christopher McSweeney,
And I'm Tim Shabanowitz.
and we are here with lesson 4, which is arrangement, layout, and floor plans. And very excited because our books came in today.
Yeah, it's awesome. Really big, awesome books to hold.
Yeah.
Great paper, too.
Absolutely. Again, we did pick out the paper.
Yes.
Well, Tim did for sketching, so you
Yes.
should enjoy that.
Yes.
Now, hopefully you have had your books already, but ours came in today, so you'll see these on the desk as we talk. But Tim's going to get us started here with our quote.
Yeah, so this one's from Alan Lakin. He's an American author who specializes in time management. So planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. So how does this quote feel to you all? Why don't you take 30 seconds or so and see and think about it, and we'll come back at you in a second.
All right, and we are back. Hopefully you had some good reflection on that quote, because planning is very important, even though DIY design sometimes comes off as rough cuts and poorly executed because it's DIY, but you can execute DIY professionally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You just need to make sure you are, if there's time for planning, time for action.
That's right.
Balance it out.
So let's talk about planning.
Okay.
One of the funnest things to do, in my opinion, is the floor plan.
Yeah.
Figuring out kind of like where you want stuff. This is the dreaming.
Mm-hmm. And there's no mistakes in these first initial sketches. You're just getting ideas out there.
Yes, 100%. And most likely, you won't even land on your final layout on your first sketch.
Oh no! If you do, it's after many other iterations. Then you come back to the first one and say, actually, this was the best one. But you're never going to do that one shot.
Right. Or you've been thinking, like subconsciously been thinking about it for a long time, and then you're like, oh, now I'll put pencil to paper.
Yeah.
So we have kind of like a fake classroom, just to give ideas what floor plans can be. We really like that square paper does help, but sometimes just white paper, no frills about it. Just start sketching.
Yeah, some people like the if there's some grid paper or dots on there, it just gives them some control that something is actually equal. You can actually use that to scale things appropriately, which is a next level type thing. But right now, just getting things on paper.
I love it. Or glass, right? When we redid this office area, I wrote on the window with an expo marker, and I said, do you think this will fit?
I was like, sure, why not? Measuring tape always helps.
Yeah, and what we thought would take an hour took us 3 weeks. So, we did not listen to Alan Lakin there. We kind of did our own thing there. So let's talk about this, because I love this part. This is time to dream and time to design, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to start envisioning, in our scenario, which is classroom spaces, right? What do we want students doing, and what do we want the teacher doing? All right. So when we talk to our client, who is the teacher, we're going to ask them, hey, in your ideal world, right? No limits. What do you do in a classroom setting, and what are your students doing? Right.
And if these are your first initial sketches, maybe you don't have a client yet right now, but this is the time to get kind of your own biases out there. So, and maybe even just do some studying. This is sketching and floor plans. It's all studying. So the more you do this, the more comfortable you're going to be in this space and talking about this space with the client, and the client will appreciate that.
All right. So we want to experiment with new ideas, right?
Yep.
So, because we're dreaming, whether or not they happen, who cares? Let's just start the thinking process. We want to fail fast. Big into failing fast. What are your thoughts about failing fast?
Yeah. Now's the time to do it when there's little, you're not going to lose a lot by doing, you're actually going to gain more instead of losing a lot. You're not going to lose a lot of time. So you just want to just get those far-fetched ideas out there, just get them on paper, and if it doesn't work, great. Crumple it up, throw it in the trash can.
Right. One of my first conversations with you, you didn't even probably know my name. I walked in, I said, I want to build an awning outside of my classroom, and I want to turn it into an outdoor cafe. And you're like, who are you?
Yeah.
That idea failed very quickly, and I was glad, because I would have spent time doing the wrong thing. All right. And we also want to produce options for our client, for ourselves, because that's part of the dreaming. Right. And then also, what else can they do for us?
With options, if you have the options, then there's no regret later on. Like, I should have thought of that. That's kind of worse.
Right.
So you just want to make sure you do the full breadth of thoughts out there. And that's why, if you're designing in your class and there's 18 of you or 20 of you doing different ideas and thoughts, just think how many options that's going to be to get out on paper.
Absolutely. And, be thinking back to the theme, right? While my theme is welcoming, I could have all kinds of different variations within my classroom to support that theme. So while I have it as a cafe style, there's loads of different ways you could do this. So one way we do that is we go to inspiration from different categories, and we're going to use what we have. So it's time to design.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. This book is so big.
Yeah, it's awesome though, man. It's a behemoth.
Cool. It is. So we got some pictures here of different locations. Some are cafes, some are office spaces, and some are co-working spaces. I did this on purpose because we wanted to talk about, could these be classrooms, right?
Right.
So we're going to give you guys some of our thoughts on each space very quickly, and then you're going to take some time to kind of make it personal for you before we jump into our assignment and our design of the day. All right, so let's go left, right, top down, whatever. So this picture on the left, what are some elements? Like, could that be, this does not look like a traditional classroom, right?
No.
Yeah.
What I see in this space, it's different sections of a space. It's not one space. I see multiple areas where multiple groups can sit down. Now, could that be an aspect for a classroom? Maybe. It depends on what you intend to do in the classroom. This appears to be like a restaurant, right? Or a cafe.
Yeah.
And, you can have small conversations there, and that could work.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
So I'm looking here. I'm going to try to, push myself and use your words here. So texture, I see a lot of cool textures going on, right? That velvety couch, the brick wall, the smooth concrete. I see some contrasting values because you're going to have a lot of lighting up by that window.
Yeah.
You're going to have dimmer lighting as you come into the room. There's lots of cool lines everywhere. It seems to be very clean, like that clean aesthetic.
Yeah, even though it looks rustic, but it's clean,
Yeah.
right? There's defined spaces by the tables and chairs, but also the lighting is giving you some defined spaces as well.
Yeah. How could it benefit a school? I can see having kind of that gradient of saturation, so to speak, of students, right? So like in the foreground, we have this seating for 4 to even 5 students. Then behind that, there's the 2 tables for 2 students. And then at the window, there's 4 tall stools there, which can be individualized, right?
Right. You can work on your own, or there could be an activity that requires that, right?
Yeah. And then challenges would be the materials, right? Like, not every school's going to have exposed brick walls. Most of these are, well, what you've taught me is behind this drywall is metal studs.
Yep. And it's not much there. Also, another obstacle, like a lot of schools don't have the good natural lighting. This one has a nice big window, which is nice to bring that in. You want natural lighting as much as possible.
Absolutely. So I could see this being a very interesting room. I mean, if we count the chairs real quick, we got 4 at the window, another 4 in the middle, and then 5 tops.
And with more expanded seating, you could have more in there. It just depends on how you want to set it up, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about this assignment that we're going to do here.
Absolutely.
So we talked about some existing spaces that we see that can draw inspiration from. So this is going to be your first blush at the new room. So you're going to sketch out your room, and you might see that we only have like one rectangle right here, which is great. But don't let this be the limiting factor for your designs. This is the first sketch, but we want you to do many, many more. And at the back of the book, there's a lot of spaces for that too. But think about the type of furniture that you're needing for the room. You might want to do something we call paper dolling, which is you kind of cut out like little squares that kind of resemble a couch or a chair or a table from up top, and you can like paste them down, tape them down on here just to kind of rearrange them. And what's great about that is that it's not permanent. You don't have to erase it. You just kind of put it down, move it around, and see which one you like better, which is kind of cool.
I love that. And we do encourage you guys to make this book your own. So as you are sketching and drawing in it, you are taping those things in there when you kind of land on a design you like. We want this book to kind of become this cool living portfolio for you. Come up with a theme, a purpose, a goal, and name all of these things. Name the layout, right?
Yeah.
All of that will create intentionality. It doesn't necessarily do anything for the final design because it might not be the final design, but it's going to get us in a mindset of being super intentional with where we're going with this.
If you name something, it's easier for people to wrap their heads around, especially when you're sharing it with others.
Yes. Once you complete this, we do have a DOD, a design of the day, even though we don't always have one every single day. And we are going to be talking about
Therme Vals, which is Peter Zimter's spa thermal bath in Vals, Switzerland. And it's one of my favorite buildings of all time. It's nestled in a little corner of Switzerland, and it's this building. If you ever get to go there, you got to experience it because this is where experiential architecture is in full effect here. So hopefully you get that from taking a look at the pictures, take a little read over here, and sketch well.
Love it. This is awesome. If you are in class with us, we'll obviously provide the picture for you. If you're following along from somewhere else, scan the QR code and we'll have a section on the DIY Design website where you can click DODs and find this one right there.
This picture and other pictures that kind of supplement that. So it'll all be there for you.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this video. It was longer than we anticipated, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's good.
All right. Well, we hope this video helps, and good luck.
See you on the next one.